Part 6 of the second number of Art in Australia, 1917. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain.
Hans Heysen by Ronald Finlayson. Illustrated by In the Ranges and A Grey Morning. Watercolours in the possession of Anthony Horden's Fine Art Gallery. When Heysen was 16 years old, he went out of his home near Adelaide to paint a couple of gum trees. After 3 years spent between Julian's studio, the Julian so maliciously drawn in Moore's Impressions and Opinions, at the Beaux-Arts, and in Italy, Heysen returned to South Australia. Since then he has painted many gums, chiefly the beautiful white-trunked gums, which abound near his home at Ambleside. He has painted them in all stages of their growth, under all conditions of sunlight, delicate opalescent saplings at early dawn, and robust full-grown trees under the rays of noon and afternoon, or in the red and gold of evening. Walk a step or two from his house, and one is in the midst of his subjects. He was the first to fully recognise and develop the possibilities resident in the gum, and in spite of the uniformity of subject, his handling of line and light and shade has always charmed away monotony. Under the immediate influence of his landscape, seeing and becoming saturated with its daily life and growth, he paints the gum with unrivalled intimacy and understanding, yet always as a painter who never overlooks the pattern of form and colour. For one almost wholly a landscape painter, there was a danger that this constant preoccupation with one subject might spoil the freshness and spontaneity of his work, and hinder further development. But in the last 2 or 3 years this danger has been seen and averted. A new and robuster freshness is evident in the decorative series of Turkey studies, bright and happy in colour and full of movement, and in the sketches and paintings of the River Murray, in the strength of the red cliffs, in the strangeness of the tree scenery, in the breadth of the low-lying vistas. In his early work, Heysen painted his landscape much as he saw it. One cannot notice the preference and selection that so individualise his later manner. The colour looks solid and heavy, without the characteristic suggestion of suffusing light. Then followed a period when the gum was intimately studied and rendered, with a leaning towards the warm red and gold tones, and the slanting light of evening. In many of these pictures there is a pervasive tint of purple, that now looks heavy beside the delicate grey and lilac of his recent work. But his attachment to evening effects has become slighter, and now the silver greys of dawn, with the early sunglow lighting the mists, attract him. And here the decorative note is becoming more accented. At times we can catch a distinct hint of Japanese influence. All his work is growing lighter and cooler in key, and it is in this direction that his colour schemes are increasingly tending. For this cooler colour scheme he has practically abandoned oils, in which medium much of his former work was done, and adopted watercolour. To some extent he has worked in pastels, and there are some delightful studies of Sydney Harbour and haystacks seen under the light of late afternoon. In all Heysen's pictures one is keenly aware of the presence of the sun. In an art so typically Australian, this could hardly be otherwise. His aim, still in the course of such admirable achievement, is the complete rendering of atmosphere permeated and alive with light, clear atmosphere laden with mist, or dust, or the gold dust of the evening, and in and through it all the sun's light. Thus one marks the absence of strong shadows, the restrained relief of light against light, the silver gold tones of the sun. So far, Heysen's successful solutions of his problem have deservedly charmed both artists and amateurs. The new developments, however, are clearing away some of the soft and pleasing qualities so dear to the amateur. He is looking at, selecting and rendering his subjects in a more masculine and robust manner. That his art will gain much thereby is certain, though amateurs mourn. A man cannot continue to create the same class of beauty without some loss of the original freshness and spontaneity. He must extend and change his method of expression, and this is what Heysen is attempting and achieving.
End of Part 6.